Hey, welcome. How's everybody doing? Hello. Sorry as I get myself together here. Um, Welcome to the recap. I am Captivating Christian, and here is where we talk about everything that has happened, um, from politics to entertainment to whatever it is you want to talk about. Here, that's the recap. So if you have anything, you can always drop it in the comment section. Any questions, comments, or concerns, and let's talk about it. I will also drop the link in the chat as well. So if anybody wants to come on at some point and add anything to the conversation, you are more than welcome to do so. Hey, Patty Duke, Lady T, how you doing? GG, what's going on? Okay, so where do we start? First, condolences, of course, to the family of Little Richard. He passed this morning, I guess. So yeah, definitely come through with the crinkles. Thank you, Jay Dunn. Yeah, so he passed this morning. So a great legend in rock and roll. Although I don't understand why he waited till he was about 80 something years old to basically come out and say that he was gay, but I get it. So we've lost a great legend in our history of music. So definitely much respect to him for the doors he's opened up. Okay, so let's moving past that to, of course, some more things. But this is something that I don't know. It was really bothering me all this week, and as you can tell, Friday the news was short. Just because I just really wanted to get into this, and some people may disagree, and that's fine. That's why I enjoy this portion where we get to go back and forth and have a discussion uh, about Armand Avery, his killing by the two men um, back in February. Okay. I'm torn only because, and I say that because of this. Um, it's we getting to see that, of course, being in their neighborhoods is an issue. We always have to be questioned about being in their neighborhoods. But at the same time, the reason why I say I'm torn, because at the same time, they have an issue with us being in their neighborhoods, from Trayvon Martin, so on and so forth. You come into our neighborhoods, change it around, put a Starbucks, and kick us out. So then where do you expect the people that you displace from their neighborhoods to go? But to your suburban neighborhoods that you question us all the time whether or not we belong there. So then there's a problem. My issue, and again, this is just me. The fact that this went uncovered for so long is ridiculous. That's a whole nother. And then on top of that, he had already had. I just finished reading an article that the father, who was an officer, had already had previous incident where in which they were on a slow speed chase with a young lady who happened to, they say, possibly have some sort of mental issue or whatever. But however, when they finally caught up with her, they shot her in the head and in the face and covered that up. So there's a whole stream of other investigations that he was involved in that dealt with a drug task force where a lot of the officers were doing crystal meth and coercing a lot of witnesses and just a whole bunch of mess. But again, my issue is like, where do you expect, if we're all human, which we are, somebody should be free to go where they choose. I don't understand why there is this thing like to where in which you can question us if you see us in your neighborhoods, but you come to our neighborhoods and kick us out, and that's okay. And I truly believe, and I'm not saying that this should happen by no means, but I truly believe that if we start treating them how they treat us when they're in our neighborhoods, the whole story, all this would start to be like, oh, whoa, what are we doing? Um, because I just don't get it, and maybe somebody else can better explain it to me. Because I'm at a loss. I really am. Even with the young man who was on the high speed chase on Facebook, I get it. People make choices, and your choices causes certain actions. We all know this, but there are ways to where in which you can there are ways you can disarm or whatever. Because if you notice, when they do a lot of high speed chases with people of, even though it was a black person, because skin folk ain't always kinfolk, and especially in that kind of atmosphere, that police badge thing, a lot of times, even us, they start to feel like they fit in more with um, the people in blue than they do their actual people. So I say all that to say, I don't know. I'm at a loss. And I think marches and protests and all that stuff is kind of draining me. And I don't know where to go. Gentrification is real. Uh, it's very real. But to an extent to where in which we are, um, it's like, where do you go? Where do we go? What do we do? Uh, how do you fight this? And I'm an advocate of protecting yourself by all means. Um, I think one of the great things, because there were so many great things of the Black Panther Party, was just that. They made it out to be a vigilante out to kill the police, but no, it started as protecting the community from police brutality. Uh, and it just drew attention. It drew attention because here you see black men and women armed with guns walking around, but it's okay for them to do it, to go into their capitals. They're in Michigan right now at the state capitol doing just that, standing there with their guns, busing into the floor of the house, demanding that the state um, lift the lockdown. So it's just like, I'm confused. I'm really at a loss for words. And if somebody could help me get it, I really, because it's color, period. One. Two, it's a whole lot of other things. But that first part is like, if we could just really call the thing a thing, I think I would start to like, okay, we're moving in the right way. But because it's always this silent, can't even find the word right now, but just this silent, unspoken thing that I'm really getting tired of. And I think we constantly lose out and lose lives to this silent law. It almost reminded me, even watching that graphic video of him jogging and them chasing him, reminded me of the slave catchers and how that would go. Um, and I'm not surprised that people still think that way. I'm sure a lot of people still think that slavery was a good thing and we should still reenact it. But here we are in May. This happened in February. And now all of this has come out. And the lawyer had stated that the reason why he let the tape out, because he thought it was going to be to diffuse a riot or a protest. How? I don't believe that. Um, but how? How could you not be outraged, even at your own people? Not even talking about us, but even at your own people. How could you not be outraged to see a young man just jogging, and these people may have asked him questions down the road before, and he kept running, you know, acknowledged them or didn't, and kept, on his jog, minding his business, to the point where they felt so that they had to then get their guns. And then what do you expect the young man to do but try to grab the gun from a man trying to point it at him? I'm just, again, a loss for words. I, I don't know. Maybe somebody can help me get it, but I just, and it's, man, and stuff like this just gets me what you call it. Both of these men should get the same death penalty. Yeah, I believe so too. I agree. I agree. I think they both should get the death penalty. But again, there lies the problem when our lives aren't valued. And I hear the argument that, some say on the other side, well, they kill each other. That still is no excuse. And, on that note, we need to start valuing ourselves and our fellow brothers and sisters. We do. We don't. We undervalue each other. And we shouldn't do that. But at the same time, that doesn't give them the free range to just fire off, hey, you don't belong in this area. Um, what are you coming from? Where you coming from? I mean, that's the same thing like that barbecue patty or whatever, when she called the police on the people barbecuing. Oh, you shouldn't be barbecuing out here. It's that kind of mindset that you can't do that out here. You shouldn't be doing that out here. Who gave you that right? I, but we would be wrong, and we'd be all kind of criminals and thugs had somebody knocked whatever her name was upside her head for coming after them, calling the police and doing all that, and saying to her, hey, you don't belong here. You don't belong in this area. You don't belong in this community. You don't look like us. Are you here robbing and stealing? It'd be a whole big thing. They'd be singing kumbaya around that woman, and she wouldn't have been dragged through the internet the way she was. So I'm just... Right, exactly. There's no words to justify a murder. It's just like, it's cold-blooded murder, period. And of course, what's going to be spun in the media. They're going to find any kind of criminal history. They've already talked about that the reason why they was so after him is because when the father was in law enforcement, they had an issue with him a year prior. I'm just like, why? Why does it always have to be, if they do something that heinous, that they have to then justify it by, well, we've had a run-in with him. Well, he's been a bad character. He's had some, run-ins with the law. What does that matter at that point? That still didn't justify you not only doing what you did, then dude jumped out of the back of the pickup truck with gun in hand, ready to finish off the job. Like, what are we doing? But again, we have a whole administration that really thinks that this is okay. You have people on the border who are not border patrol, who are average, militia carrying, don't tread on us type folks on the border searching for immigrants and, tying them up and thinking they're doing the president a job. What are we doing? And nobody is speaking up. Nobody is really saying anything. Now, one thing I must say about our people, this is just us. We need to be just as upset and want answers and justice when we see our own killing our own. And we don't. We need to start doing that too. We need to start holding ourselves accountable too. Because if we're all in the same community, you know, trying to make it and trying to do, I just I don't see how, we see each other as you have a little bit more than me. So I'm gonna take the little bit you have, even though we both really don't have much, but they sitting over here with everything. But you won't do what you need to do to chip away at that, but you'll chip away here, home, your people, what you look like. I I can't. I can't. I don't even know where the words can't even describe. Like I've just been thinking about this. I woke up thinking about it. Like this is crazy. This to be 25 years old and just jogging, minding your business, whether your mom lived in the area and they didn't know it, okay. But for men, like slave catchers, okay, to chase that young man down, I'm sure he was fearful, just like when you think about Trayvon Martin and they go, oh, who was that yelling? Oh, I don't know. You could clearly know that that's a young person's voice yelling for help or something like that. It's like, why do we have to keep coming to this impasse? Because again, if we were to do that to them, we would not hear the end of it. You had the young man, and again, not saying that it's right or what have you, but the sniper individual who at first they thought was going after the DC sniper who was going after. First, it was because a couple white people got shot, and then it was random, but it's always this. I don't know. I can't even explain it. It's like black person with a gun, dangerous, angry, all these things. A white person with a gun, oh, he's just standing up for his rights, protecting himself. Why is that? Why can't we just see for what it is? They're just as much as thugs as the thug that you would claim that young black man to be, because that's exactly what's going to happen. In the coming days, he's going to be such a thug, so in the streets, had troubles and run-ins with the law. Why can't they be the same? Because isn't that what thugs do? Gun down people? That's what they do, right? Allegedly. So, I mean, wherein lies the difference? I don't know. But yeah, that's just, I'm going to get off my soapbox with that. But I just, I can't. I really can't. Because it's hard. It's hard to even look at a system that you're supposed to trust and value to a degree, of course. A system that you're supposed to trust and value when still to this day, I mean, before you were 3/4 a person, now you're still that 3/4 a person. If somewhat you get entangled or your rights get taken away from you, you don't matter. You become every little thing that you've done throughout your life, everything, any kind of tanglement you had with the law, that's what you've become. Your whole life is just those moments. Doesn't really matter what they did. It's almost like it's justified. Oh, good for him. He shouldn't have been running. He should stop and answer questions. I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm not answering questions for any and everybody. What you don't need to know that. Like I'm minding my business. I'm going where I'm going. It's almost like you giving them the right to question us at any point whenever they feel that they need to question us for their safety. They can do so. And if we don't comply with them, this is what's going to happen to us. Now, again, I could be wrong, but that's the way I feel. I feel like it's just given that it's just giving that green light. And I can't idly sit by and just think like, oh, well, it didn't happen in my state. So that's not my concern. It can. It can. You can be at this point. You could be driving and get lost, and all of a sudden you're not in the area where you're supposed to be, and somebody could do those same things to any one of us. You need to stop looking at it as, oh, that's just the person that don't affect me. Look at it as that could be you. That could have been your son. That could have been your nephew, your brother, anybody, a neighbor, anybody. So I just okay. Sorry, but I'm gonna run back and try and answer some questions because I'm gonna stop talking for a bit. So yeah. Hey everybody. Sorry I didn't I was just too busy running off at the mouth. But hey everybody, Queen Diva, Smart Show, I'm on Jordan. Hey, what's going on? Exclusively me. I need to stop sending on. Right. Exactly. Like we stand in line to buy sneakers and just the silliest things. Um and music is a form of expression, right? So okay, cool. But you don't have to. I wish a lot of the artists would just basically be upfront and say, hey, a lot of this stuff ain't real. I still pay rent or a mortgage on my house. I don't even live the kind of lifestyle that you see on TV. I live nicely, but it's not as lavish as you see. Because those images are being filtered to our young people, and they're thinking that, oh, if I just make it here, if I just get here, I'll be able to obtain all this, and glorifying things like drug use and all these type of things that it's like, where is that taking you? At the end of the day, where is it taking you? Because once you get caught up in a system that is already corrupt and built for you to kind of remain in it once you're in it, where can you go? What can you do? You can come out and say, yeah, I've been rehabilitated. While I was in there, I got a degree, all that good stuff. What happens 9 times out of 10 when you apply for a job when you're outside? Have you been convicted? Yes. You may fill out, oh, I've done parole, I've done this, I've done that. Still, no, you may get denied just for the simple fact that you've been incarcerated. So it's just crazy, just really crazy. I don't know. What did you say? Sorry, I'm just trying to catch up with everybody because I done lost my place a little bit. But charge it to my mind, not my heart, please, because I am just a little fired up because I just can't. No, we get so caught up and angry about this, but then it dies down, and that's my problem. Like right now, it's all the celebrities are talking about it. This one's talking about it. They're posting it and all this kind of stuff. But give it a couple months, and it dies down. Why? Why? Because the minute it dies down, you come across another, thing where this has happened, and then we're questioning laws like stand your ground. For what? Because if the stand your ground law doesn't apply to a black person or a person of color the same way it applies to a white person, there's a problem. And that's just what it is. It's a huge problem. If we're not equally protected under the law as we should be, then there's a problem with the law. But then that's where we come in and make sure that we have to then say, okay, well, let's start cleaning house. And if that means cleaning house in our own party or our own party that we kind of vote towards, even if you are independent, because I'm not for the whole, as people say, plantation thing. Um, but even if you're not, fully on the Democratic ticket, cool, I get it. You can be independent and maybe sometimes choose more Democratic candidates than you do Republican candidates or independent candidates. Cool. But we need to start holding these people to task, really. Like, not just during election time when they come and hop in our churches and go, hey, I'm looking for your vote. Please vote for me. No, start checking their records, checking what they really vote for or what they're actually going to stand and do. Like this like Joe Biden with this. Now come on, I'm for Joe only because of the options right now, but lift every voice. Are we serious? Lift every voice is your black agenda. No, I'll wait. I'll wait. Lift every voice though. I mean, you might as well have called it uh the Popeyes chicken gathering or the Popeyes chicken and watermelon uh whatever doctrine. I you couldn't find something else. As many people of color that you probably have working on your campaign, you couldn't find something else other than lift every voice as a campaign slogan for your black agenda. One of the, if not the only anthem for African Americans during a time of, I want to say during a time of oppression because we're still in it, but during a time of a different form. Lift every voice, though. But again, that's supposed to be okay because it's like, oh, see, I'm thinking about you and your struggle and what you've gone through. I don't need you to think about it. I don't need you to think about it. You've done too much thinking about it, how it affects. Yeah, because you're not involved in it. I need you to get involved. And that goes for us too. We need to start getting more involved. And even if that means nothing big, if that just means you 2 or 3 kids in your neighborhood and you kind of mentor and talk to and steer in the right way, start doing something. Because if you leave it up to them to do it, they're not, because it's not their place. And they know it. No matter how nice they are and, respectful they are. What I always like to say is, yeah, cool, but show me what you're doing. You could be appalled all day. Oh, it's so appalling that this happened. To show, oh, but what are you doing? What are you really doing? Because you quick to want to be, oh, I want to be hip and feel that. So I'm going to go move into the urban areas. Okay. And once you move there, what do? You got your Starbucks, you got your outside malls, because then they put your Gaps and your this and your that, stuff that we've never seen in some of our neighborhoods ever. But the minute you get a little trinkle in it, all of a sudden, bow, here comes all, you're like, wow, the neighborhood's really changing. Oh, no, it's changing because they're kicking you out and they're moving in. But again, nobody's walking around, no quote unquote thugs, as they like to call us, are walking around the neighborhoods that they moved in and going, hey, you don't belong here. Oh, well, they look suspicious to me. I didn't know, officer. I was scared for my life. Come on. Come on. And the fact that the whole thing was covered up. Because again, they protect their own. And a lot of times they don't even have nothing to do with uh, the police officer kind of mentality. It's just they see kinfolks when they look at each other. Prime example, Dylan Roof, the white kid that went into the black church and shot up 9 people. Did they did they when they chased him down, did they fire on him? Did they shoot that man? Or did they apprehend him even after a high-speed chase? Um Take him to get some Burger King because he was hungry, and then took him to justice. I mean, you can't get a more of a clear example than that. I'm not, I'm just not getting it. With us, it's kill on sight, even if it is our kinfolk that work for the police department. They're so brain warped to where they look at us the same way that the others look at us. So it's like, damn. And then you gonna be over there talking about something. Well, I guess they're gonna have a closed casket. Really? Really? Again, what the kid did was stupid. By all means, dumb. But if you can't chase that young man down with all that training and police academy BS that y'all do to make sure that you're fit to be an officer, if you can't chase that young man down, then you need to go back to the gym. Then maybe they need to reevaluate your fitness level. Because if the first thing you need to do because you chasing after somebody is shoot them in the back and then talk about, oh no, they were shooting back at us. Clearly, sir, that man had his live on the whole time. And he didn't have a shirt on the first and some shorts or sweatpants with no gun visible whatsoever. So then now what's your problem? I don't know. Right. I mean, you're very right, Nate. It's like you have to wake up. Like this is, and people say, oh, it's not a race war. Then what do you call it? What do you call it? And I'm not saying everyone. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying everyone. But there are a group of people, you can tell by even the support, a lot of the supporters, his core supporters, they like this whole, it's them and us kind of thing. It's truly disgusting. And we can't, no longer shall we sit and just, oh, well, I can't wait till this is over. Oh, well, yet again. People are afraid to go outside that live in neighborhoods or areas like I do. Because all you need is one. All you need is one person to call. That's it. Are they going to, do they really ask you questions? No, because you fit a description. Allegedly. And then if they don't have anything on them, like the young man in, I think was it Dallas or Houston? The one where the officer mistakenly, as she says it, thought it was her apartment. He had nothing. He had no priors, anything. So then now we want to talk about, oh, well, he had marijuana in his system. So what? So that gave her the right to go into his apartment, claim that it was hers or think that it was hers and just fire on the man? Come on. Like, I can't get with it. You can't make me get with it. You can't even make me understand it. I just don't. I don't. It's not even that it's true that they are trigger happy, but a lot of these cops think, and they take this whole as if it's a Call of Duty kind of video game, and we are, the opponents, and it's, oh, we gotta knock them down or something. Like what are we doing? And the fact that even the DA, who is there not just to protect law enforcement, but you're supposed to protect the people, make sure the laws are fit for everyone and everybody gets hit, with the same equal justice. No, you'll sit there and sweep stuff under the rug because you're going to protect them first before you protect a life, I'm not. I can't get with it. I can't get with it. And again, maybe I'm wrong, but I can't get with it. Yeah, right, exactly, and be shopping tomorrow, right? Exactly. Or all the the Action Network and the this and the that. They'll go flying down there, to have all these protests and get up on these churches and make sure the camera's on me. And don't get me wrong, that's a kind of playbook that worked during the civil rights movement. Um, because at first, a lot of the things that were going on was not getting that much attention. It really wasn't. Uh, the bombing of the four little girls in the church was like the biggest thing that they was able to really start the movement on. But then after that, things were still happening. People were still, getting beat up and lynched and all kinds of stuff. So they were trying to find a way to where you could see it, you could be up north, you could see it, and it could really change the mindset of the nation. So then they started to have the news cameras come down and film a lot of it. And then people started to really see, like, oh, wow. But at this point, we've been doing that song and dance too long. It's time for something else. It really is. It really is time for something else. What did you say? Yeah, and I mean, it's just as much as, um, they go to gun shows. We should start going to gun shows. Now, see what's going to happen is they talk about, oh, we want to be able to, have our guns or whatever. It's our right. Let us start going to gun shows and just buying guns. See what happens. See how it changes. Oh no, we can't sell you this. You need a background check. Oh no, you can't do this. You can't. But for them, it's so easy. They sit in the house now, 20, 30 guns, and you're like, well, why do you need all this? Oh, it's for my protection. Okay. We could have 20, 30 guns right now and they could all be licensed. You'd get yourself in trouble. You don't need all these firearms. How you gonna tell me what I need if I hunt and do other things? It's always a standard. It's a standard for them and it's a standard for us. And we don't need to be complacent with their standard for us. But we need to have standards for ourselves. That's definitely what we need to do. And start holding each other accountable. Yeah, that civil rights strategy don't work anymore. Right. I mean, but that's why they wanted to open up, and you're absolutely right, sincerely. But that's why they wanted to open up the government now because they want you out there spending. But at the same time, you out there spending, you do know that we are being more affected by this COVID than any other ethnic group because we are. Our hospitals and areas of health do not have the same capacity or capability to handle an influx so people will die. People are dying. I mean, people could say the numbers are a bit, you know, fabricated or dramatically. I don't believe that. I know people that have died from it. I know family members that are have been diagnosed with it at this present time. It's happening. It's happening. So, we can you can turn a blind eye to it if you want to, but you better check where you live and check your insurance. What was that? Right. Yeah, they stall applications. Um, when we try to buy firearms. Why? Why style our applications? Of course, because you don't want us to have that power. It's a problem. Oh, don't take my right to bear arms. Well, let us all bear it then. So when I'm in my community, right, and I see somebody that don't look like me, I get to question them. Right? If that's what we doing now. So me and my family could feel safe. What'd you say? Martin Luther King made it. Yeah, I mean he did, yes, and I'm not taking that from him at all. But again, the argument was really education. Like I just want what you have. I want what you have in my area. But others thought that that was too much. That's giving them too much. That they could surpass us if we just gave them, if we kept it separate, but gave them everything that we have, then they would surpass us. We can't have that. So what we'll do is we'll just integrate it. But it really wasn't integration. It was just a takeover. And then they just dismantled the black community as they saw fit. They said, okay, we'll let some of you in, but then we'll draw this line to where in which y'all stay over here, we'll be over here. Then we'll also do this. We'll let some of your children come to our schools, but mainly the majority of your students will stay there. We'll give you some good stuff. We won't give you everything. We'll we'll give you, some programs so you can reach higher heights, get an education, but it won't be allotted to everybody. Yet, those same poor white folks, most of their parents who are now grandparents now went to college for free. Okay? Went to college for free, got a house little for nothing, and they still sitting on it. But you bring up the thing about reparations, and it's, well, what you need that for? I know I'm not following. Somebody help me. That's all I'm saying. Like, somebody help me. Like the Jerry Maguire, help me help you. Help me help you. I need somebody to help me because I don't see it. I don't see it. I see BS all around. Because even with us, a lot of us, quote unquote, make it, and it's like, well, what do you want me to do? What do you mean? What do I want you to do? I don't understand. What do you mean? What I want you to do? Like, LeBron James should not have been the first NBA player to start a school. Let me run it back. LeBron James should not have been the first NBA player to start a school. Yet we go out and buy Jordans. I mean, I have two pair. I didn't buy them. Someone bought them from me, but I don't understand that. I really don't. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. And I just going back thinking about, it being Mother's Day or whatever, and which is already hard because on the 4th of this month is the day I lost my mom, and then Mother's Day came directly after. So it's always been like hard. But one thing I will, among the abundance of things she's taught, she's always had this thing with sneaker, like buying us stuff of material value or whatever. And it was like, we wore uniforms in school. So it was like, that never changed. But as far as sneakers was concerned, or shoes, we could buy stuff. And my brother was older, so he was always into whatever. But my mother always put a cap on it. And it was like, nope. If you get, say it was like $80. So you got $80. Now, you could buy $80 sneakers, or you could buy something less and keep the rest of the money. So you make that choice, but it's the choice you make. But I'm not buying no $100 and change sneakers for you to walk around, somebody to step on or try to rob you for, or any of that nature. That's foolish. They You walk on these things. Get that out of your head. So at first, being young, didn't really understand it, but the older I got, totally got it. Totally got it. I mean, to the point where we would go shopping together when I was older, and she'd pick up stuff that I'd be like looking at the price tag, like, lady, if you don't put that back, I'm not buying that. But there's a mindset that we need to get out of. Like there is, and I don't know what it is. I really don't. I couldn't tell you what the mindset is, but it is this thing that we just have to feel like if I show you I'm doing good, then you believe it. I don't know, fake it till you make it kind of thing. I don't know, but we need to really like self-examine. Like a lot of these things are not important when people are dying. A lot of this is so not important when people are dying, not only by the hands of other people, but now we got this to compete with. Some virus or thing that we don't even know that they're saying now that people who have had it and kind of gotten over it may now still have it like in their semen or whatever, where in which they can now transfer it to someone else. That's crazy. I don't know. I don't know. It's just it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a way too much to talk about in an hour, but it is a lot to really think about. Just really take some time and think, what am I doing? Where am I headed? And a purpose. Right. You have to make sure you got condoms and masks. Like what is yeah, but that's the thing. We've been in this warp to where in which we think capitalism will work for us. And understand something. You know that saying everything is not for everybody? There's certain things that have been placed or put in place in this government that just don't work for us as a people. It just don't. It really does not. But when we do strive and we do grow as a people, what always happens? Somebody over there gets jealous and says, "Oh no, we got to stop this." I won't even go that far for you. I'll take it to, like I was saying earlier about the Black Panther Party. Now, the Black Panther Party, of course, started to put a cap on police brutality, but at the same time, they started free lunch programs, after school programs, tutoring programs. They had all these things going on in the community. Only thing you worried about, they walking around carrying guns. That's it. That was your main focus. But then after you dismantled them by naming them terrorists and killing them off and arresting some of them and doing whatever they did to them, then you took their programs and you implemented them in your own system. You took their free lunch program, you implemented it. You took their tutoring programs, you implemented. You took their they even had a WIC program thing that they would do. You implemented that. So I'm not understanding. Do you take it only because you want to use it and you want to put your name on it? I don't know. Just help me understand. Yeah, and it does. It does look like YouTube behavior. And again, but it gets excused. And that's the problem. everybody's behavior gets excused. And it's like, why? Why do we constantly excuse behavior? Like if you was wrong, oh, I think I did that wrong. Oh no, that's right. If you were wrong, then you were just wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. Like we should be able to critique each other and say, "Hey, brother, sister, I think you went a bit far." Again, there's nothing wrong with joking back and forth. Nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it. But when we go so far as to dismantle each other, to tear, I mean, literally, I want to rip your eyes out of your head if I could. That's going too far because you won't do that to the other. You wouldn't dare do that. You may dislike them, you may not like what they say, but you won't go that hard on them like you would your own people. That's what we need to stop because they don't do it. They go after each other, but they don't go that hard because at the end of the day, they know that they skin folk. That's all I'm saying. We always, a lot of us look to them as better. So, when they say, all skin folk and kinfolk, a lot of people that ain't kinfolk because they believe that they're reaching for something greater, which is them. They're no greater than us. I mean, we started it. East Africa, do your research. History, all of mankind began in East Africa. And then, went off to different parts. But I mean, there's no substitute for the truth. It is what it is. Um, right. Yeah, use this time to really and even not just the grandchildren, study for yourself. The word even says study to show yourself approved. Study for yourself. It's not I don't know everything. I do read a lot, but I don't know everything and I learn new stuff every day. But study and know for yourself. Cuz if you don't, they will teach it to you and they will teach you just what they want you to know. So please, while you're at home and you have this time with your family and kids, have these discussions, please. Um, know that these things are happening. And yeah, they're depressing and yeah, they're sad, and nobody really wants to talk about it because it's dark and it's depressing and it's sad. But I'd rather talk about it now than to be the next one in line. Or to have to keep talking about it because nobody's listening. And for the people, in the skybox and in the chat, please, I implore you, like, let's just start paying attention. And again, yes, it is cool. It's fun to joke and laugh and all that kind of stuff, but real things are happening. People are really dying out here. Now, the first step on my is to really just vote, period. Really vote, period. Like, yeah, get him out, but get everybody out. If they ain't voting in your interest, if they don't have nothing that when you look at what their foundation is as far as what their platform is, you don't see nothing that interests you, do your due diligence and vote to get them out. And if you can't, and if they wind up still winning, you make sure you keep your foot on their neck. That's it, and especially locally, because the presidential thing, it works, but it's not. It's not, as you can see through all this, and if not for nothing, this is showing you who really runs who really runs the states. Like, yeah, the president, but you already know he's a buffoon, so you cannot really think like, okay, he's really ordering this. No, 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 no. Your governor can say, yeah, okay, we'll take that program and we'll implement this. Yeah, your governor can do all that because your governor in your state holds the power. He is the president of that state. So it's like everybody's got their little president. The governor is the president of your state. Look at Georgia. Open that mess up and look what happened. But at the same time, again, another, I'll do this, but for me and my people, this is what we're going to do. So I'm open up all your barbershops, your nail salons, your stuff that I know you guys like to go to. But I'm going to sit back. I'm going to cancel. I'm going to close the governor's mansion because they do tours. I'm closing the governor's mansion till further notice. I'm not doing any public engagement of any kind, and neither is my family. So while you go running the streets and go into the park and doing all this kind of craziness, and not knowing if everybody's been tested because they haven't, I'm gonna sit back while your community numbers are flying. So I'm just like, I'm just really like at a loss. Like, yeah, take it seriously, people, please. Take it all seriously. Yes, it's depressing. Yes, it's sad. Yes, you get tired of hearing it, but it's real. There's nothing more to say. At this point, think of it like even if they had a vaccine for it, or even if they, could kind of, if I'm looking at it like mentally, if I'm thinking, well, they ain't nothing, they don't do nothing for us anyway. They're, they this, they that, they're criminals, they're this. We don't, all the things that they like to make up about us. If they already think those things, and then you have the power to go, should I really help them? Or should I just let this like just swarm and it'll get some of them? We may not get them all, but it'll get enough. I mean, like he likes to say, well, what do you have to lose? My life. That's what I have to lose. My life. So how about we start thinking there? You have everything to lose. You have your life to lose. So if you don't vote, you have your life to lose. If you choose to sit down, you have your life to lose. Just plain and simple. If you don't want to take none of this seriously, you put your life on the line. So what do we do? That is my question posed to you all. Are you willing to put your life on the line? To ignore all of this or to gloss over a lot of this because you don't want to get involved? Politics is not really my thing. It needs to be doing something. Needs to be doing something. Because in this state of Maryland, the governor had to order test from North Korea, have it fly into BWI, which is not an international airport, just so the federal government could not seize these tests. But as we speak right now, the federal law enforcement is trying to seize the records from the governor of Maryland. So at this point, it's not even a thing. Like, this is really small pockets of a war over here. We got a little bit of war over here. We got something over here brewing. We got something over there brewing. All the time, though, while all this is brewing in these little pockets, you got the people up at the very top talking about, oh yeah, so we're gonna go after abortion rights. We're going after all this other stuff. We still try to go after Obamacare again. But mind you, nobody's in Congress though, but they still going. So it's like that doesn't stop either. So, we need to get on it. That's all I'm saying. Just get on it. Right. You better make it your thing some way, somehow. Make it because it's It's real out here. It is definitely real. And again, I get it. Everybody wants to go out. You're tired of being in the house. But my life is more important. And until you can test me and everybody around me and I know who has it, who doesn't, and what to do, or just okay, the person has it, you just got to keep your mask on and whatever. Cool. If that has to be the new regime or regiment, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. And for those of us who, I ain't wearing no ugly mask, you can get some fabric and stuff and have a different color or a different design or whatever for every day of the week if you choose. But why does that have to be a thing, though? Your life should be more important. Right? You got the Justice Department dropping the charges against Mike Flint, the man who clearly said lied, and the judge, the federal judge. I mean, although the Justice Department wants to drop it, the judge on the case not having it because he's already seen the parts of the transcript and all the stuff that Mike Flynn has done that we cannot because it's classified. He's already seen it, and he's already told him that he thinks he's a traitor to the United States for what he's done. So, yeah, I mean, if there ever was a swamp that he claimed he was cleaning up, he just took the swamp from New York and brought it to DC and made it even more swampier than it was. Yes, Judge Sullivan. Exactly. Thank you. The judge is like, no, we're not having that. No, I think it's um no, Mike Flynn's judge is different, I think. Hold on, let me check. I know he's a black man though. Oh, it is Sullivan. Yeah, okay, yeah, you were right. My bad. But yeah, like just totally crazy. Like I can't with this whole cover up and thing any longer. It's to a level that's like, come on. And then of course on this end you have on the Democratic side, you have now the accuser um, of Joe Biden talking and speaking out, which of course I think every victim should be heard, but also things need to be vetted. Um, and I think that's only fair at the time of where we are, the importance of what we're doing. Yeah, all those things need to be checked, verified, and kind of as far as you can go to get to the truth of the matter. And if there was something inappropriate that happened, then something needs to be done or said or something. But I just don't. I don't know. I don't know. Because at this point, if we sit here and we crucify Joe for that, and they ain't crucify Trump for the numerous allegations he got, then what are we saying? Because again, I mean, like I said, I'm no big fan. I think he's just a nicer Trump. He probably has said some stuff out his mouth that was crazy too. I'm sure of it. But he was the person to soothe those some of those white voters that voted for Trump, to soothe them with having a black person in the White House. So that's all. But really, that's all I have. I'm gonna jump off my soapbox. I'm good. I just need us to do better, be smarter because we are, be greater because you are, um, and just be different. And it's okay. It's okay. Everybody is not going to, everybody's not going to see your vision, but stay with it. Stay with it. And it's good to have difference of opinion, because then you could have open dialogue and you can learn from each other. But just be able to do that. Open yourself up to hear a difference of opinion. Uh, Protect your peace and your space. You know, just be a greater you every day. Every day, just be a greater you. And I know to some it sounds corny and whatever, but every day you should be want to be greater than you were yesterday, because yesterday is done. Every day is a new day. So with that, I want to thank everybody for joining. Thank you for stopping in, listening, adding your points of view. Sorry I didn't get to everybody's comment, question, or what have you, which you may have asked, but I will go back and read it and respond to you in the comments if need be, or leave a question in the comments if you choose to. But have a blessed rest of your weekend. Stay safe. Protect yourselves as always. But definitely, just be great. That's all. Be the greatness that you are born to be. We are all great. No one's greater than others. Yeah, we may do missteps, or some of us don't really understand or know our capabilities, but just be great. And that's all I have. So everybody have a good weekend. The rest, excuse me, the rest of it anyway. And thanks for stopping by. And God bless. And I'll see you later. Peace.